Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by way of Stone Mountain, Georgia, birthed by the great state of South Carolina, is the Bryant Land Country Podcast, your place for any and everything in hunting, fishing, sports, and outdoor related, with heavy doses of randomness, guests, and an all-around good time. Here's your host, proud Gamecock, South Carolina forever, AB3.
Welcome in here. Welcome to another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I am your host, AB3, and as I am laying down this intro, it is almost Valentine's Day. I want to say happy Valentine's Day to all the couples. When this drops on Monday, Valentine's Day will be right around the corner. I want to say happy Valentine's Day to all the couples. Fellas, hope you got your ladies something very special. Ladies, hope you got your man something very special. You know, that hunter in your life. Go get him that new bow. Go get him that new shotgun. Whatever it is, you know, show your love. Valentine's Day is not just for the fellas. Not just for the ladies. It's for the fellas as well. So ladies, make sure you go out there and you get that special hunter in your life. Get them something special. All right. This week's episode, I have a young lady who is new to the hunting industry, but she is tearing it up. Young lady by the name Bianca Jane from Georgia, by way of Tennessee, by way of Michigan. This young lady in 2 short years is putting her name and her brand on the map in the hunting industry. Her Humble Hunt is the name of her blog. She's out there on Instagram. You can find her on Facebook, Twitter, all the forms of social media. And she's just basically blogging her journey. And she got started in the hunting industry, got started doing all kinds of hunts and everything. She's been to Canada doing bear hunts. I think she's supposed to be going this year doing turkey hunts and whatnot. So very charismatic young lady. I met her in Birmingham this past summer. Just walked up on each other, said hello, gave each other a hug, and then we just kind of been talking and just clicking ever since, basically sharing our new experiences in the in this hunting world. So you guys kick back, check out my interview, my conversation with Miss Bianca Jane. Bianca, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Everything seems to be well in life over here in Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Nice. I would love to be back in Georgia right now. It is, well, when I woke up and went to work this morning, it was 3 in Milwaukee. I think it probably got up to about 20, 21 before it was all said and done, and it was still snowing when I came in from work this afternoon. So, yeah, I would love to be in Georgia right now.
It's a cold part of the year, I think, all around, so I don't blame you. That's why I moved from the north.
What part of the north? I saw that in your bio. What part of the north? Where were you born?
I was born in the state of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I was adopted by my extended family, and I've lived and been raised here in the state of Georgia since I think I was 6 months old. So, you know, born in the south, born in the north, but I was definitely raised down here in the south with a lot of family up north. So I wasn't born here, but southern raised.
Nice. Michigan. I was actually in Ann Arbor a couple of months ago doing a basketball game at the University of Michigan. First time I ever been to Ann Arbor. It was cold then too, but it was usual college town or whatever. But it was, like I said, I'd never been to Ann Arbor, so it was pretty cool.
Nice, yeah. It's I'm glad because I don't think I was made for the cold, so I was made to be here. I'm glad, the hunting's better. I live in the tri-state corner of Georgia, so I have Chattanooga, Tennessee, just like a rock's throw.
Right.
Alabama is with under an hour, so it really gives me access to multiple states because there's always something to be hunting year round.
Right. Yeah. No, with it winding down now, with deer season winding down, it's time to start getting ready for turkeys. I think I'm going to break the bow out here in the next couple of days. And since my waterfowl season's pretty much come to a close, I'm going to break the bow out and start getting ready to get after turkeys. You do a lot of turkey hunting in your corner up there?
I'll say this. Turkey season, the idea of hunting turkeys was new to me when I started hunting, with the remembrance that I started hunting because I wanted a deer hunt. Mm-hmm. We went out for turkey. My fiance also never been turkey hunting, and so it was new for both of us.
Nice.
And honestly, I got started on it just because it was open, and I was so eager to try something after my hog hunt. Deer season was closed, so it was interesting. And kind of find out, I mean, turkey and deer hold they're grudged up pretty hard right now. Turkey's definitely right now, after what I've experienced, my second favorite, but it's second to my first deer. So I do a lot of turkey hunting in the sense of I'm looking forward to the season coming. Am I good at turkey hunting? I don't know about all that now, but I definitely give it my best effort. I'm with you. I'm hoping my first turkey was my chance. I shot it with my bow. That's a story I don't want to repeat, but you know, now it's
why not?
Well, those that have never read that story I put out, I didn't, when I say that I started hunting and I had no idea about anything, I mean it. Like, I literally just wanted to be out there doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know turkeys could fly at all, even though it's a short distance. No idea that they could get up and go. Didn't know that they could literally cross a football field in the blink of an eye.
Right.
I didn't know they had these huge, these huge claws. I didn't know anything about turkeys but what was on my Thanksgiving table. So when I shot this turkey, it was a terrible shot. Of course, I'd only been shooting a bow for, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And when I hit it, I jumped out of the blind. I was like, no, you are not leaving. You're not taking off. You're mine. And I went to get the bird without knowing how big it was and everything. And it made sure I'll never forget that. I still have some scars from its epic battle with me. I realized it wasn't going to die quickly, so
right.
That was the best fight. I have a lot of respect for that turkey. It's sitting in my living room, fanned out right now.
Nice.
I know now, so I'm eager. I'm glad to hear you say you're going to try for a bow kill, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Check back with me in a few months, see if I survive.
I was just telling somebody the other day, that's probably the thing in my short-lived hunting career that I'm most proud of. I killed a Nebraska Miriam last year. I called in 4 gobblers. I had 1 hen decoy out, had a few hens around me, and I called in 4 gobblers using a mouth call and a push box call, combination of both. And I called in 4 gobblers. It blew me away because I couldn't believe I did it. And I was trying to get it all on camera in the blind, and I got the 4 gobblers coming down. But I didn't get the kill shot because I was mesmerized by the turkeys and the gobbles and all that stuff. Right. So I'm mesmerized and I'm just oh snap, I got to shoot one of these things. So I didn't get the shot on camera, but yeah, I let it go, double, pass through or whatever. And then he kind of wobbled. He took off and flew, like you say, jumped up, flew, and he probably didn't fly 5 feet before he piled up under a tree. And it was the most, like I said, it's the thing that I'm most proud of. But I give you kudos for going turkey hunting with a bow.
Don't give me too many kudos now because when I did it, I did not have enough knowledge. When I did it, I was like, oh yeah, I killed this bird with a bow. What do you? Thanks. I didn't even know that was a big deal. That's how little I knew about the world of hunting. I just went out there and just whatever. That's what I got. I got this cool new bow.
Right.
I'm gonna try this. So I wouldn't give you too many kudos, but.
But 4 weeks, you had only been shooting 4 weeks, so you started off with turkeys. I was probably shooting mine when I first started. I was probably shooting my bow for maybe a month and a half, and I went on a hog hunt with dogs. That was the first thing I killed. That was the first thing I killed with my bow. I went down in South Georgia, went down there with a guy, and he had 2 hounds. And we went and flushed out a hog, and, the hounds, they don't catch them or whatever. Right. They just bay them up. And I got in, it was probably maybe 10 yards away or something like that, and popped the hog. And it was crazy because it wasn't even in his lungs. I popped him, I believe in his neck, passed through in his neck. Because I was so worried about hitting this man's dog. That was the only thing I could think about. I was just God, don't let me shoot this man's dogs with these bows. Because not too many people will let you go, with a bow.
You are correct. Yeah, I got turned
go
down.
on a hog hunt with dogs.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I said, so you did turkeys after 4 weeks. Like I said, I was a month and a half, and I did hog with dogs. So, but yeah, so that's why I say kudos.
See, we're equally balanced. I'm wanting to go bow a hog. I shot my first one with a rifle, and it's I wish I'd got a hog first, but turkey season's coming, deer season's over, and it's sad to see it go. But I got a lot of hopes for this coming season. So,
how was your deer season? How'd you do?
I'll say just to anyone listening that anytime I speak in accordance to what my standard is, what I think, and by my story and where I've come from. And that's what really matters to me, because I know where I started. And so for me, I had the best. I couldn't have asked for a better. Okay, I could have shot a doe, but I didn't get to. I had, as far as buck wise, I had the best season I could have asked for, and I say that because I had a mess up, which I'm very, very transparent in everything I do.
Right.
A lot of people were actually messaging me saying, "I can't believe that you shared that. That you shared that shot and everything." They said it in in respect, because being a hunter, you live by the honor system, that you are the person that you're going to be when you're out there and nobody's watching.
Right.
And I spent a tag on a 4-point buck, opening a 4-point buck, which was on opening rifle season, which happened to be my daughter's birthday. And I left here, and she was like, "You need to bring me a buck today." My kids have been dying for deer meat. And it's just, I aired on my experience. I learned a lot from that. Those moments, it's a story that I talk about in one of my posts. It's my daughter's birthday buck. It's in those areas, I think, that you just get better. That I think that where you mess up, it's just as valuable as where you get better. So I'm happy I shot it now, because I didn't have anything after my second tag, and we have meat. But I was happy to have that one. I learned a lot from that one day. And then I had my first solo success this season, which was huge for me. What means a lot to me, and I think it should to any hunter, is to know that the animal that you have in front of you, that you've just killed respectfully, that you put in time for it.
Right.
That I love and have a lot of respect, and I'm thankful for the outfitters that I work with. But I have different things that mean different things in my life. So for me, that land, I've been working since early year, right around turkey, about February. I've been trying to learn more about land management, habitat. And so to kill a buck off camera that I had specifically wanted off the land that I handled with my hands and plotted, that was gold. Then to do it in front of my son,
Yeah.
You could put a 12-pointer on the wall and him score, break the world record, and I don't know if it would have meant as much to me. So overall, I think that I walked away from the season saying, wow, I don't know how I could have done better than that in my world, because I learned, I showed my children something, and I spent I think it was 60-something or 70-something out of the 93 days open for hunting season, actively out there hunting. So
wow.
I couldn't have asked for anything better. Literally, I couldn't have asked to spend the last 2 months doing anything else. So in that, I have to say, success.
Yeah. No, I totally understand, because that's one of the conundrums I have with my schedule and stuff, is I don't get to hunt my property nowhere near as much as I would like to. And this was the third year that I've had my property. I've been hunting probably, I think, about 4 years now. And this was the third year I had my property, and I finally killed a doe off of my property. And it was just a matter of time and being able to put the time in to actually go out there and hunt it. I put a lot of time in doing the work and, setting up food plots and feeders and cutting lanes and all that stuff, bush hogging and whatnot. But to finally be able to take a doe off of my property, like you said, and to come close to taking a buck that I had been watching on my property, for me, it's just like, all right, that was really good. So now we got something to build on for next year.
Amen.
So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Literally, you heard me go, amen. Yeah, it just gives me life. Hearing you say that, it gives me life to hear. It's life to me when people understand where I'm coming from. That what I feel is so valuable to me in my life hunting is the same way that they see it, they understand it, they get it. So I totally understand it. You outdid me. I've yet to kill a doe. I am. They are smarter than bucks, I think, at this point.
Yeah, them old nannies.
Yeah.
They are. Them old nanny does. Yeah, they know how to stay alive.
Oh my gosh. I'm running 15 cellular cameras on a piece of property. I still can't get one. So
Yeah, it's just time. Like I said, it's time, and I was fortunate that morning to be out there because there have been plenty of times I'll get pictures and, it's like, God, I wish I was at home. God, I wish I could go hunting because I get these good pictures and stuff. And finally, like I said, I was able to just put together, a couple of days, to get it done. So, but that's the thing that kind of drew me to like your page and wanting to like talk to you and stuff, because not only with the transparency and stuff, like I said, I've only been hunting for like 4 years. Like I didn't grow up. I grew up in the country, but I didn't grow up, hunting and stuff like that. We fished a little bit, we messed around on dirt roads and played in ditches and all that good stuff, but we didn't really hunt. And the thing about you is, like you said, you're just kind of getting into this. So it's kind of cool to just be able to talk to somebody that kind of like understands where you're coming from, as opposed, to talking to guys like, oh, well, you hunted with your granddad or you hunted with your grandma, whatever the case, like you've been in it lifelong. So that was one of the things that drew me to your page. So that brings me to my question. How did you get started? Like, what drew you to it? What was the deal?
When we going back to my friends. If you meet any of what people that I call friends, they're going to call me B. If I don't tell you to call me B and you call me B, I'm going to be mad. If I tell you to call me B, you're my friend. And so my friends and family would tell you that growing up here in the South, my parents are both entrepreneurs. I'm thankful for that. I've seen success and struggle, and I've seen hard work. And a lot of times where I lived and my family had a home. My father built it. It's funny because I would never let my kids do this today, but my parents really, during the summer times and things, I said bye and I was gone. Like I was in the woods and I didn't come back till it was dark. That was it. I didn't have no cell phone. I didn't have anything. I was just literally out there in my own imagination with whatever friends were in the woods, because there's no neighborhoods where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And you were just exploring. All you had was nature. And I remember my mother, like if you asked her today, she'd giggle that I used to play and pretend hunt. I would pretend like I was on Survivor in a sense, and I had a little spear and whittling knife, and I had rations, and I had to live off the land. It's always been a part of me. I've always, looking back, wanted to be quote unquote a hunter. Something about it was just healing. Again, just like you, I didn't have anybody. People around me, the surrounding community, seemed like everybody and their mama and their grandma and their second or third cousin was hunting, but my family was not. Of course, my family came from the north,
Right.
We were transplanted due to my father's business. So I'm a first generation hunter. And now my nephew, rightly named Hunter, is now the second in the family who I just got to take out hunting here recently. There was nobody. I would actually help the neighbors with their butchering and harvesting as a child, but my family was not hunters. So it's always been something that I wanted to do. So when you fast forward to when I got started, my fiance comes from Alabama. He moved for the first time off of a large piece of land, but the same place when we met.
Mm-hmm.
And if you meet him, please know that he comes from a family where if you didn't grow it, you didn't kill it, you didn't eat it.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
Later on in life, due to injury and a car accident, he had to stop hunting, and we met during that time, and we're talking about a 10-year gap maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So hunting was not something that I was accustomed to with him. And then lo and behold, I still don't know what it was, but one day, I think we were going out to the gun range, and he says, hey, would you ever, or do you ever, do you want to go hunt? You want to go hunting? Just randomly. I have no camouflage. I have no weapon for this. I know nothing. I haven't said nothing. It was the most random thing that I could think of. And I looked at him, and my eyes probably popped out of my head because this child in me goes, it's time.
Right.
And so I was like, yes. Oh, my gosh, yeah, I want to go hunting. And, of course, deer season was just about to end. So at the time, we ended up going down to South Georgia to go hog hunt. Lord, that one trip did a lot for me. But yeah, that's how I got started. It was literally a random question on a random day, and he would tell you right now that if he knew that I was going to be, which is comical, he's being funny, if I was going to be this person and where I am at this time, he would not have asked me. We eat, sleep, dream, breathe, we live by it. And so from there, it just transpired into it. And then I started sharing. I shared some photos on Instagram about that hog hunt because I didn't get anything. Nobody got anything. We didn't see anything. And I sat through the cold and it was raining and I'm afraid of the dark at this point. And I'm in the dark by myself in the woods in South Georgia and got nothing. So it just kind of went from there. Like I said, her humble hunt is just a humble kind of just a basic. I don't have any special backstory that would make anybody go, oh, or whatever.
Right.
It's just simple, the simplicity of life.
So that's the other thing, like with your brand and your blog, what made you decide to just put your story like out there? Like you said, you just got into it, you're just starting to enjoy it. And then now you got like a brand, a blog, you got a massive following on Instagram. Like what made you develop the brand and the blog? That's
a really good question because now my fiance, there's different types of deer hunting. I'm sure, clearly you're aware and, everybody else is. At the time when I started, I didn't know that. I thought deer hunting was deer hunting. But like my fiance spent his early years, he's very accustomed to the use of hounds and dogs for various types of hunting.
Right.
That's his family. That was Wednesdays we hunt bucks, on this day we hunt deer, and on Thursdays we eat over here at Papa's house. And but the dogs were everything. And so of course he did some stand hunting or whatnot, but it wasn't his expertise. So where I live, you can't run dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. It was a sense of, okay, now I am in need of learning something as a new hunter. And when you look online, what do you find? A lot of times you find information that's spoken in a tone that you should already know step 1, 2, and 3, and they're giving you step 4. Well, hey, sir, I don't know step 1, 2, and 3. I don't know anything you're talking about. What do you mean? What do you, and it was such a gap there that I can't tell you how many hours it just invested in trying to figure out what that word meant to go with that sentence. And I'm only 5 sentences in. And you have to go back to the basics. You have to assume nothing.
Yeah.
And add it in. It's funny because I'm a social person, but I'm not a social person. If you approach me in public, depends on the day, I might be shy and bashful.
Right.
You approach me online and you speak to me, then, of course you're going to get me, but I understand that. So at times I would ask people, like other women online, and it was just sometimes I just felt like I didn't get the kind of response that I might have wanted, and I know that's for various reasons. That's not at fault to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just, when I started sharing things, if you look on my website, I kind of got part of that from one of my favorite hunters, but it was literally geared to if I was the same person I was 2 years ago, which is just about where we're at in my journey. What would I want? What would I need? What would I want to read? And on my site, you open the front page. It's hunting and outdoors living from a slightly odd but dedicated female hunter in the perspective of a beginner. And there's nothing more true to be said about me. I'm so obsessed about hunting. I talk about it. I do it. I live it. That there's got to be other people out there that want to know what I was looking for with a support system and somebody that says, oh, you never killed anything? You're still cool in my book, you're trying.
Right.
And I really try to just break it down to the terminology, to the very building blocks that I needed when I got started, because, long story short, the numbers are down. We're lacking. And if it's the future for our community is in the newcomers, the new hunters. And if we don't bridge that gap, I don't know what's going to be up. Plus, more women learn how to hunt, I might find a next door neighbor that will hunt with me.
Sure.
So it's just a need that I felt that I wasn't as accessible. So, and also, like, Stephen Ranella is my favorite person in the world. That probably sounds cliche. I don't really care. He was the first person I ever saw online, and I'm thankful for that because I didn't get to see anything but reality, that you go out and hunt, you get nothing. You go out and hunt, you get nothing. You go out and hunt, you get nothing. I wanted to show people the reality and the time that goes into making it happen. I didn't want new hunters to come in and think that they're defeated and give up based on false pretenses, that it's okay. You spend 2 months and you see nothing. Right. That's okay. And so all in all, it was just the whole purpose of everything was I wanted people to have the best start possible. That way it builds for better development in, the world that we live in.
Yeah. And it's refreshing too, because, like you say, you can go, and it's funny, I sit back and I laugh at them because, obviously because of what we do and stuff, building brands and whatnot, we're in, a lot of different hunting groups of all, sizes, shapes, colors, whatever. And it's funny just to sit back and watch, somebody come in and they ask like an honest question, and they get killed by the trolls.
Murdered.
I mean, like, it's, it's just like, God, man, do you have to be like that? And of course, if you say something, everything snowflake
That's
this and
assuming.
snowflake that, and, and all this other BS. So it's refreshing because, yeah, you have questions, and me being kind of like the bookworm, a bookworm
I'm
about
a geek.
stuff that I
dork.
want to
care.
know about.
Yeah,
Is-
yeah.
So like, it's funny you say Steve Ranella, and I got Steve Ranella's book, hunting, butchering, and cooking wild game.
Yeah.
Another,
I got them all.
like, I got that sitting here. Like, if I look over here, hang on a second. Like,
The big thing is when we watch television, and me and you, where we are, we know what we're watching. We know. We're not watching it because we think they're just overcoming the biggest obstacles in the world and they're just so hardcore. We're watching it because we know they're going to shoot an animal. We know they're going to get it done, but we know the circumstances that surround it. And that's fun. That's what we're watching it for.
Right. It's
people
a
that
good
don't know,
time.
they don't know.
And if you don't know and you pick up something in the process, then that's great. I mean, like, one of the books that I read, like, over and over again during deer season was like the Field and Stream total deer hunting guide. Like, I got that book out of Barnes and Noble or whatever, the bow hunting book. Like, when I first got my bow, I went and looked for like books on bow hunting that I could find that wouldn't bore me to death. And it's another book that, it's like total bow hunting from like, 1 to like 1,000 or something like that. But I mean, when you're starting out, you just want that knowledge. Yeah, you just want that knowledge. And a lot of times, internet groups and forums, that really ain't the place to go. So.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where if you're in it, you know what you're looking at. If you're new, you have no idea. And that both are needed, but both won't grow and help make the future bright for the hunting community.
Right.
I would have been crushed. I would have been defeated. I would have probably given up had it not been for people. Literally, I hate being cliche in whatever way, but I watched Stephen Rennell. He was all I knew as far as a name. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful for that, because I could have been the person. I would have gave up. Oh my gosh, I would have gave up. So, because other people are honest when they're on a show at times, but at times they're not. And so I would have thought, well, why didn't I see a deer? Why didn't I kill something?
Right.
Just forget it. But it's the transparency and the honesty and what it's really like, because otherwise you're in for a hard awakening.
Right.
Yeah. So that's really where it came from. I really have a passion, and I truly want more people to be a part of this community. I mean, that's more people for me to talk to. So my friends previously, people may have known me by Hurricane Jane, which I come by that honestly. I'm a pretty rough and tough, tumbly kind of chick. I pretty much destroy anything. I'm surprised I went to the last show and didn't break anything. But putting this brand, taking on this kind of tone. I remember when I told my fiance that I wanted to start a blog. I had no direction. I didn't know where I was going. But first and foremost, I didn't have a name. I knew I needed something to represent my life. And I even said when I started, I said, when it's right, I'll know it.
Right.
That it has to speak for me before I speak. And literally, I think it was like 2.5, 3 months before anything was said online about it. Here I am. I don't remember. I know my foundation name was in the middle of the night. I think Her Humble Hunt. I'm a night owl. And so I'm pretty sure I was probably laying in bed sleeping 2 or 3, 4 in the morning, and literally sat up and said, Her Humble Hunt. Oh my gosh, it's it. It's Her Humble Hunt. That's it. Like, I can't make that up. Like, that's real life.
It's crazy how that stuff comes to you. I mean, like, when you're developing and you're trying to, figure that stuff out, you'll sit and you'll agonize over it and you'll think of stuff and it'll come to you. And like, you go through all these different things, and then when it hits, it's just like,
boom,
when it hits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I went through
when it's right, it's right. It needs to speak for me before I speak,
right?
And really set the tone. And people have asked me, well, where did Her Humble? What does that mean? And because a lot of people have a misconception that my website and things, then that might indicate that my nature and personality, which it translates into maybe a humble person is weak or they, it's not what it meant at all. In fact, what it meant in reality was the complete opposite, that I'm fortunate for my upbringing because I feel like anything I put my mind to, if I put the time into it, I'm going to get it done. And that's in my own world. It's in my own mind. I'm always in my own lane. But when it comes to hunting, that's where the beauty was in it, that it was hunting did something for my life that nothing ever has done before, and it humbled me.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel as though, it made me, I don't even put in the words, having something that I have to work for has always been something that I love to do as a college athlete and everything. But to have something that I worked for and I have to put time into, right, that nobody else can take away from me, that nobody else, they can't replicate it, they can't copy it, that's mine. It's literally mine.
Right. It's a part of you.
And that the shooting of archery, that it is what I put into it. Yep. And it's humbling because Mother Nature is still going to kick your tail in.
Every time.
And it's the only, every time, 97.9% of the time, yes. And, I've left the field cursing, slamming things. I say slamming things. I took my beanie off and threw it on the ground like it was going to do something. Just mad because I had everything perfect. And it was just nothing.
Right.
But then by the time I get home, I'm already like, all right, so I'm going to go back. It's Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday morning. When is the first flight? It doesn't matter.
You go back.
It defeats me.
You go back with your tail between your legs, and you kind of sit down for a minute.
Love it.
And then you come back and you put another plan together and you go at it again, just like nothing ever happened. It's funny how you can do that in hunting. I know me personally, I need to figure out how to do that in other areas in my life, but that's another story for another day. But
it teaches you a lot. It does something. So you got it exactly. It's nothing else in my life have I ever felt that way about, and so it's humbling for me. I feel that my hunt has nothing to do with really me or who I am, as far as, hey, I'm Bianca and this is what I look like, and it's a personal but impersonal part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
My hunt, I wanted to speak for myself,
right?
And that's where it just came from. People, you were to say, you did a killer job on that last buck, and whatever, I wouldn't know how to answer it because if you were saying it in the form of a compliment, to me, I feel like I didn't do anything special or different or extraordinary in a sense of, well, you're not in my head, so how do you know?
Right. Right.
It's like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because I feel like I want people to follow my story and I want people to read my stuff, but I want them to do it because of what can be done by anyone. Recently, I will start writing for a women's magazine soon. I'm really excited about that. And the tone is, if I can do it, you can do it.
Right.
Literally. I'm nothing. I've done nothing. I will be nothing different than you. That it's accessible to you as well. Let's be friends. I'll help you out.
Right. Just make it relatable.
Yeah.
Make it relatable.
Right. Exactly.
Now, has writing always been like your passion? Because I've read some of your blogs and stuff, and just how you do like the descriptive writing and setting the scene and the tone and stuff. Has writing always been like a passion of yours?
That it has. Okay. Has it been a passion? No. Has it been something that I'm gifted in since I was young? Yes. Okay. It was actually, my daughter takes after me. I'm gifted, quote unquote, artistically in the writing field, which is, relevant, which is on, you can see through my early years and special classes and stuff. But I was never passionate about writing. Mm-hmm. Can I be a descriptive writer? Can I make you feel like you were literally sitting next to me 25 feet, 20, 30 feet in the air on a Sunday and it's raining and it's 31.7? Yes, I can do that for anything, really. I really can. But do I have a want to take the time that it takes to be meticulous? No. So when I realized my fiance was actually the one that I think my blog and came about because of Instagram, and I'm thankful for social media because I realized what I had to say about that day and that moment was far more than Instagram could hold.
Right.
And so, people will say, well, I wish I want to do a blog, or I wish I could write. And, stop comparing your passion in something to telling somebody about the Friday special over at Bell's. It's not the same. When it's something that, I can't do that, So I was, to me, it's like when it's your thing, mm-hmm.
Right.
It. I have my, there's all these SEO and WordPress this and that have rules and things, and they hate me. It hates me. It hates the way I write because I can take a paragraph, turn it into a novel. and they don't like that. So, I tell people that we're not. It's not that I'm any different than you. We can all write, but if it's your thing, then you can do it. Now, may I write a little bit more detailed than some people? More than likely, yeah. But yes. Writing has always been a talent of mine, but it wasn't until hunting that it became a passion of mine. And when I started writing, you might have seen an earlier in post, I said, I don't know if I don't even know how people even followed me to begin with on Instagram. More or less they're going to take an extra step and go read my blog. But it was a place for me to get out what I felt and what I had to say. And above all, it was an outdoors diary that my family, my children, anybody that's a part of my life can have, whether I'm here or not. They can have what made me feel like I was living my life. And it was like a legacy in a sense, an autobiography type thing that I felt like I had to start because hunting has changed my life in ways that I'm coming up into my dirty 30s and, nothing's ever done this for me. And I wanted to leave that behind.
Nice. Well, you're definitely on your way. I mean, you're talking about you don't know if anybody would want to read it or anybody want to hear it. I mean, I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and there's 42,500 people that apparently love everything that you got to say and you got to put out. So I would say you're doing a damn good job of doing what you're doing.
I'm just a happy little hunting hillbilly that, has a computer. So,
That's a pretty funny description.
We're hillbillies around our parts, and I think a lot of times it's been the feedback from people that some would call a nobody, that it's been the feedback from someone that has 120 followers but has a daughter that's taken a selfie and sent me a message that at times when things have been hard, because I'm going to tell you it's hard sometimes for multiple reasons, they are the reason that reminds me that, hey, it doesn't matter what anything else happens right now. It's not about you. It's what you're doing on this aspect. You got to be selfless. And it's funny because I'm so bashful, but yet those things like that just like set my world on fire, It's like, oh my gosh, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I take that very seriously. It makes me about to tear up right now. She's my mini and everything. And so when she gets online, you better dang sure know that I want her to see what is relevant and positive in life. And so I take it very seriously that I could be somebody that somebody's little only child, their little girl, their world sees as valuable and copies themselves after.
No, totally. I totally understand that. The same way, my daughter's 12 and my son's 13, and my daughter, she loves the media business and she likes to be in front of the camera and take pictures and stuff, and I try to help her out with that. She'll go down to the land and help me do stuff on the land and whatnot. She wants no part of the hunting, the actual hunting. She is one of the first people that is there with her plate though when the food's done, but she wants nothing to do with the hunting. And my son, we shoot bows and stuff together. I try to, ring him in to get him to practice enough before I actually let him take a shot at an animal, but he will go hunting with me and run the camera, and he'll help me, with other little things around with my media stuff and whatnot. And I'll probably, get them on the podcast and stuff when school gets out. But yeah, like you just, when you are doing stuff for your kids or doing stuff to leave like a legacy or, to leave something for your kids, it's a whole different motivation and it's a whole different ball game then.
You're exactly right. And I think that's easily distinguishable to those in this community.
What's the next thing you got? What's the next big thing? What's the next big thing we can see from you?
Things are always changing, some for the better, some for, well, I wish. As far as the next thing that's the biggest, not to say that, other things aren't big. Also, I know turkey season, I'm hoping to seal the deal on my Grand Slam. That's something that I wanted to do. It's so weird because before I even deer hunted, I was like, I want to do a Grand Slam. Never been turkey hunting in my life. I just look cool. And that's my, people will tell you, if you know me, that's just how I live life. It's like having blinders on is almost been a gift because I don't know how hard something is before I go for it. So therefore I don't defeat myself. And I went out to Oklahoma last season. I got my Rio and I have 2 left. So that's the next up. That's going to be an accomplishment, I think. If things work out, I would love to actually do a single season slam. I got to meet a guy that's done actually he's done a world slam, and
Wow.
I'm hoping to see them again. I mean, it's being out there and doing it. Now I know it's
Right.
hard. So I'm like, oh my gosh, will you sign my baby? I don't have a baby, so will you sign this first? So it's difficult. It's hard. I get it. And so I'm really hoping to finish that, something that I've had on the goal list. Next up, of course, there'll be some things going on in between that. I hope to visit with some people, do some more bow fishing. I'm loading up to get my new bow. I'm thrilled about this speed bow that's from heaven coming in.
I saw that. I saw you posted about bow fishing. You got to let me know how that is, because it's funny because my son's been kind of poking at me about going bow fishing. So you got to let me know how that works out for you. We might try it this summer as well. But yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, it's a whole other world. I mean, I thought, well, I can bow hunt. I can bow fish. No. Woo! Talk about a whole different ball game, but it's a lot of fun. Surely I'll definitely have to catch up with you on it. I have some friends that run a business in Florida. They do stingray shoots. Killer fun to be right around the bay at 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
Shooting rays and barefoot on a boat. I want to get some more bow fishing in. We actually got me a little bow fishing boat last year. Didn't get to use it. I said I was going to be bow fishing in the off season. Well, there was no off season. I ended up hunting, various things throughout the year. I'm thankful for that. I'd rather be in the woods than the water. That's just me. But overall, I think the 2019 season is going to come down to returning to Canada. I went to Canada this past spring bear season, which is, again, I set things before I even know what it means, and I'm going for it. I'd never shot a deer in my life yet. I said, I want to go to Canada and shoot a black bear. That was in my top 5. I really wish that I could say that I was joking, but I'm not. And, here I am. I've got like a year's experience. So, I'm like, I'm going to Canada. I'm going to shoot me a black bear.
I was about to say, you're up in Canada with this black bear. First of all, I totally understand what you mean by that, because it was the same thing with me. It was like I went duck hunting for the first time like 2 years ago, and I duck hunted a little bit, and then it was like, all right, cool. And then my next thing was like, I'm going to Arkansas. Like, I got to get in Arkansas. Like, I can't, to this day, I still, it's like you go 0 from 100. So I totally feel you on that. Now, that black bear, that was up in Saskatchewan, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I saw that was a beautiful bear. I saw that on your Instagram.
Oh my goodness. When I say I live my life in the point of you get back what you put out, that I believe that all things in life are meant to be yours in their own time. Do good, be good, see good. And so I have been in the running for a competition to go to Africa. I did not make the cut. I wasn't one of the 3 that were picked. So I was a little let down. I mean, I wasn't like in shock. The women that went, I mean, they're great. They're people that have been doing this a long time, and I felt like they really were more deserving than I was at the time they put in. But, I was like, oh, well. So about that time, the opportunity came to me to travel to Canada. I mean, we're talking, Brian, I had like 3 days notice. The season was ending, and lo and behold, the man to know had actually been online, and he had been following my story, and it was one of those things where the passion, and he could really tell that, I had a lot of dedication for what I was doing. And with just a few weeks left, late season, anything's kind of hard. Left the country for the first time by myself and met up with a lady that I had came in contact with in Canada. What are the chances that I was like, hey, literally, I can send you a screenshot of the message. I said, look, I'm coming to Canada. You want to go to bear camp or what? And, I had
straightforward, huh?
Yeah, well, I was, because people don't know it. To accompany someone on a hunt that is very important to them like that, you don't have to be hunting to find it valuable.
Right.
Just to be there in those moments and experience it with them. But, so I called her up on the way there. They lost my bow. Well, they got held up. I'm freaking out. My baby, my world is held up. I'm leaving the next morning to travel about 6 hours farther north to camp. The bow comes in just in time. We set out same day that we drove the 6 hours. It was boots in the ground, which seems to be the way to run things at this point. And there was no rest, no sleep. Don't blink an eye. We're going to the stand. We're going out to the woods.
Wow.
it's still like a daze to me because I'd had Canada on my mind so many times for so many reasons, and here it was. The atmosphere, the terrain, the people, everything was just more than I could imagine. It was such a unique experience that I can't ever say that I'm grateful enough for, and I hope to return to that specific outfitter's location this coming year. But before that, I'll get to go to Saskatchewan again, and we'll be after a mule deer and a moose. And moose, thankfully, it'll be with a First Nation owned company, which if you're not familiar with Canada, hunting moose is a privilege that's allotted to the First Nation community far more than even residents of Canada. So then you add in that I'm an out of country, person. It's hard. You're talking 8 to 10 years to pull a moose tag. So,
wow.
I mean, I was in the First Nation community. The people that last time I was up there, they were just like, holy cow, like, can I take you home with me? Y'all are awesome. They literally live everybody is cool with everybody. You would have thought that we all lived there in a happy little family for the rest of our whole lives had you went to the campfire when I was up there the first time. So getting the opportunity to, of course, if I cross elk and whitetail, I'll take them as well. They're open to me.
Right.
But above all, we're going for moose and mule deer. It's a 7-day trip. There's always something that can top something, but I didn't think I'd be hunting black bear in Canada for another 5 years, and I scored that gorgeous. Even my guide was just about to knock me out of stand when that bear stepped out. The dude's been hunting bears his whole life, and like, I don't ever get lucky. And here I am. He ended up being a 340-pound cinnamon brown color face. He scored a 19.5. He technically was set for the Pope and Young record. That's the book. That doesn't happen. So, like, I don't get lucky like that in life. Like, I've had to fight and work for anything, and so to not only have the opportunity to go, but then to take a trophy like that, like, I cried.
Yeah.
Like, he watched my video. I asked my God like 5 times, "Is this real? Is he mine?" And I was like, Thank you. And so, that's life and that's living. So, and I'll get to see that guide and that company again on the tail end of my trip this coming time. I'm eager. We're very close friends, and I call him, I just shot this 7-pointer in Georgia. And, that's what hunting does for you. That's what the community of people, you become close to each other. So going back to Canada, to Saskatchewan, working with the First Nation community industry that I don't want anything else. That's what dreams are made of. I told someone before, I'm working as a nurse. That was what my life was. I was dedicated to it, and I would give it all up and take a fraction of the income to be doing nothing else but hunting. That's what, people want to do in life. And I'm just doing the best I can to work less and hunt more. Like you said, your work schedule and trying to find time. I work a lot during this time of the year. I took off 7 months for last deer season, actually. I went, I went broke.
That's hardcore.
I saved up, and, my fiance, like I said, he's the cornerstone of my support system, and he said, that's what you want to do, and he knew that I was about that life. That's what I did. You don't promise tomorrow. So, I wish sometimes I don't want to think about tomorrow, because that means it's like, oh, well, you did take off that time to go hunt that. You don't have no money.
but you got to do what you enjoyed, and those memories will live with you forever.
Amen. Well, I laugh, but it's for real. I'll tell people, I said, I've been the happiest since I've been the most broke in my life, but I've lived the most. I'm like, I got $7 in my bank account, but I got the next 7 days off to be in a deer stand, I really couldn't be happier. That's the truth. I need less in life now than the things I thought I had to have. I don't really even, whatever. I'd rather sit at home and eat backstraps than go to Red Lobster. And so, that's living, and that's what I want more people to get to experience. And sometimes they just need somebody to say, hey, how do I do this? And it's like, here you go.
So tell the people where they can find all of your stuff, where they can find the blog, website, Instagram, all that. Give the folks the information so they can come and check you out.
Right now, the best place is on any platform. It's the same, but to find a link to everything in one place, my website is definitely the go-to. It's same as my Instagram handle, Facebook. It's herhumblehunt.com. And on that, you're going to find anything you want to know about me, maybe some things you don't want to know about me. You're going to find my social account links anywhere that you can look that I'm on. It's on my website. that is the same on every platform. HerHumbleHunt.com, HerHumble_Hunt on Instagram, HerHumble_Hunt on Twitter. HerHumbleHunt is on Facebook. Wherever it is, if I'm there, if you don't see that name, I'm not there.
Nice.
But I
nice.
believe in, my trademark quote is, scroll less and live more. It's kind of weird to say that to some people because I am on social media, but during when it's hunting season, the gram can wait. I'm in the woods, and I want more people to go out there and do what I'm doing. Don't read what I'm doing, go do it.
Right. Get out there and go do it.
Yeah.
Bianca, I appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Let's catch up here in the next couple of months and let me know how your turkey season went.
Definitely, for sure. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I'll see you in the next few months in the show season, and I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just really want to take time again to say thank you to Bianca Jane for coming on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Once again, another great interview, great conversation with this young lady. Y'all have a lot in common as far as like being newbies in this hunting business and in the hunting industry, but also just the love for the outdoors and love being outdoors and being outside. So always great to get to talk to somebody of mutual interest. Real quick for you guys, just want to continue to say thank you for the support so far for the podcast. You guys are dropping 5-star ratings on iTunes for me, and I really appreciate it. The listenership is continuing to grow. You guys are listening in and tuning in. Just keep giving us those 5-star ratings on iTunes. Make sure you're telling 5 friends to tell 5 more friends to listen to our podcast. Check us out on all our social media at Official Bryant Land on Instagram, at 3 Bryant Land on Twitter. Hit me up with an email, ab3bryantland, ab3bryantland@gmail.com. Hit me up with an email with some feedback and just let me know what you guys are thinking, people that you think that I should be out here trying to talk to, just any kind of feedback, any kind of questions that you guys have. Just continue to support the brand. Make sure you pick up your Bryant Land merch over at bryantlandcountry.com, man. And like I said, I just appreciate it. I cannot thank y'all enough for the support that you guys have shown the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, and we'll be back with another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Bryant Land Country Podcast, hosted by AB3. Please leave us a positive review and 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to check out our podcast section on our website, BryantLandCountry.com, for previous podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at Official Bryant Land and Twitter at 3BryantLand. This has been an AB3 Media production. Join us next time for another edition of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.